Shalom, family trendsetter. All praises be to the Most High Power Hashem for allowing us to see another day. Now, I am driving a bigger vehicle today. You possibly might hear more noise than usual. Please bear with me, as well as I do have a tendency to struggle for words when I speak because of my Jamaican dialect. Now, real quick in this video, I have a couple questions to ask y'all. But before I do so, I want to touch on the CV virus, so-called virus, and the social distancing that we need to practice, as well as washing our hands, in some cases wearing gloves, and definitely according to the requirements, you need to wear a mask when you're out and about. Now, I've seen people in their car alone, right, driving around with masks. I've seen people with gloves on both hands, touching shit. And then when it's time for them to go and check out, they use the same gloves that they just touched some shit and go into their wallets or their pocketbook and pull out the money and hand it. And I'm saying to myself, that doesn't make any sense, because if you're wearing gloves, you're supposed to have one glove. In other words, you're supposed to only have a glove on one hand. So the hand that you primarily use, right, is the hand that's supposed to be free. So let's say, for example, if you're a righty, you can touch it with your right hand, but the left hand not supposed to be, used, because that's the hand you're going to use to touch your personal items. But a lot of people don't know this, so they have two gloves on and touching shit, and they go into their pocketbook or their wallet and shit and such, and it just doesn't make sense because you contaminate yourself. But that's just that, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. So my wife is a nurse, and she tells me the circumstances that they usually wear masks. Because she taught me about the glove shit, and she taught me about the mask. So she said to me, she deal with COVID patient, and she usually she try to change her mask as often as possible, because it doesn't make sense for you. For example, let's say you are a nurse and you go around somebody that have tuberculosis, right, and they coughing and shit and whatever. Those droplets can get on that mask. So if you're going to reuse that mask, like I see a lot of people with homemade masks and shit, not the surgical ones, but the one you can order online, the homemade mask. I also have some homemade masks. But then when I start to think about this shit, like me walking around every minute with this shit, going around people coughing, and then I'm gonna put it on my face and take it in the house or in my vehicle and then reuse it, not washing it, not sterilizing it. It didn't make sense to me. So I said, fuck it, I ain't wearing no mask, period. I'm gonna tell you why I don't wear any masks also, a little bit. So let's say, for example, right, for you high IQ people, I came to you and I said to you, wearing a mask is kind of stupid. That's why Trump don't wear a mask, because Trump probably have better sense than a lot of us do. Because if you think about it, right, I remember when I was in school, science was my favorite subject. Science, history, and social studies, those were my favorite subjects. I hated math, but everything else, I loved it. And science, I remember we was taught that we breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon monoxide. As a matter of fact, we need the plants to give us oxygen, and the plants need our carbon monoxide as a form of their oxygen, right? So my thing is this. If you know what, I'm gonna hold that question for a little bit. Let me tell y'all a little secret. Let me tell you when I stopped smoking cigarette. Because see, I'm not a very educated individual. I get my degree from the streets and shit. Matter of fact, I got a 4.0 from the streets. My degree from the street. When I say from the streets, meaning that I don't go to a white man to teach me how to talk, how to act, and how to think. You know what I'm saying? The only thing I did was try to complete high school to get my basic education, the diploma. That was it. I don't need nothing else than that, because you put yourself in debt when you go into the public school system and further educate yourself. Unless you want to become a doctor, something like that. And you still put yourself in debt, because you got to pay all that student loan back before you actually start the profit. But anyway, I remember when I used to smoke cigarette and shit. I remember one particular day I was driving through Baltimore, and I saw this apartment on fire. It wasn't totally engulfed in fire, but it was smoke coming from the window. And I saw the fire truck pull up and shit, right? And I seen everybody jump out and everybody start put on their gears. Matter of fact, they already had their gear on, but they start to put on their oxygen mask, and they tank and shit. And I remember I was smoking a cigarette in the car, waiting for them to let me by. And I looked over, I seen other people smoking too, and people on the scene that was bystander, they smoking. And I didn't think nothing of it, because I was a smoker. But then I start to pay attention to how they're gearing up and getting ready to deal with this fire. And I'm a very nosy, inquisitive individual, so I like to study things, right? But I noticed how these firefighters, man, they put on they had their gear on already, but they get the oxygen mask and the oxygen tank, and I'm see how they checking it and making sure everything is okay. And I was saying to myself, damn, they're putting a lot of effort into it. And as soon as I'm about to finish the sentence, in my mind, they're putting a lot of effort into, preparing for this fire. It dawned on me, like, they're putting on an oxygen mask to protect them from the fucking smoke, as well as the CO2 coming from the smoke. And my dumb ass got a cigarette in my hand that I just probably a day before went to the store to buy a pack of Newport, because Newport, they target black people. They put all type of shit, fiberglass, all type of shit in the Newport cigarette, because we like menthol, right? Black people like menthol, so they target our shit to fuck us up. That's why we have a lot of lung cancer. But anyway, and I saw how they was preparing for the fire because they wanted to protect themselves from the smoke. And I seen my dumb ass and others with a cigarette in their hand. And I said to myself, these people are trying to protect themselves from the smoke, the carbon monoxide poisoning, and my dumb ass and others are going out there buying death, buying smoke, and they're actually selling the smoke. And you know how they package it, family? It seems cool. They have these shows on TV, movies back in the days, and it was cool. You see everybody smoking and puffing a cigarette, because that's how I got influenced. I seen the shit, looked cool, tried it one time, I didn't like it, but that nicotine went in my system, and that was all it took. And I realized that I'm a dumb nigga. I'm like, why are you buying death? Why are you smoking? Why are you inhaling smoke? Why are these people protecting themselves from smoke? And I looked at that cigarette and I plucked it through the window and shit. That was my last time smoking, because to me, it was stupid. And I hope a lot of y'all are hearing this video and do the same thing, because it's stupid. You're buying death, family. I understand this shit feels good when you smoke it, especially if you're stressed out, but you're buying death. But let me finish up what I was saying about these masks. So I was taught that we breathe in oxygen and we breathe out carbon monoxide. So if you're wearing a mask every time you're out and about, in some cases you got people driving around with this shit. They by themselves in the car, but they got their mask on. It doesn't make any sense. We protecting yourself from in the car. But if you're not able to breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon monoxide, because you got this fucking mask on 24/7, especially my wife now, she got to wear that shit, when she worked 12-hour shifts, when they put her on the floor, it's fucked up. Because how often do you wear masks and you find yourself can't breathe? So I don't wear no mask no more. Fuck it. If I'm going to get it, I'm going to get it. I'm dead serious. So far, I haven't gotten it. I've been around people. And you know what? As a matter of fact, I think I already got this shit. Many of us already got it. We just didn't get the symptoms of it because we have a good immune system. So I guess what I'm saying in closing is that, think about it. How are you going to be able to breathe if you got this fucking mask on primarily through the day? You know what I'm saying? Then you wearing these homemade masks that's dirty. How y'all disinfecting it? Just something for y'all to think about. Because like I said, I'm a practical thinker. Shalom.